Hey guys, so I'm here to give you my post-show update. Um, so let's just start straight away. So I did the British finals last weekend, or the weekend before last, about 10 days ago. Um, so I came fifth, which again, you know me, I'm training for first place. So fifth obviously was not what I had aimed for. I was very, very sick. My immune system was absolutely shot to pieces. I was waking up every day the week leading up to the show with a new ailment. So I was waking up with an earache and then swollen tonsils, and then my chest was really bad. So it made things very difficult. Obviously, I couldn't help but feel stressed. I was extremely exhausted. Obviously, anyway, you would be on prep, you're very depleted. But yeah, it wasn't a great time. I obviously then had to deplete my water. And we only did one day of depletion because, my coach was a bit concerned about my health. And, as you know, if you've got flu, cold, anything like that, the best thing for you is fluids. So we took the water away, had my wine the night before, woke up, felt very dizzy, felt really awful, to be honest. Yeah, it was a real struggle, and it's very difficult because, you work so hard for that one moment on stage. If you're poorly or something is not quite right, it's so frustrating. So, in hindsight, when I look back at it, and I've spoken to my coach now about plans going forward, and he said, to get fifth place when you were really poorly, he said if it was a qualifier, I would have taken you out of the show, but because it was the British finals, we just went for it, and that's that. So yeah, that's me done for this year. I know what I need to do. I definitely need to get tighter, 100%. I need to get better conditioned. For those of you that don't know or have never really sort of seen a lineup as such, in the lineup of girls, I always look the biggest, especially with my legs. So if your conditioning is a bit off, you're just going to look big. And when you're next to girls that have awesome conditioning or, just smaller muscle in general, you will stand out for not the right reasons. And I do struggle. I struggle with my legs, and that's where I carry all my fat. So it is very difficult for me. So going forward, I just need to be even more tighter, even better conditioned. I do feel like it was the best that I've ever looked on the stage. For those of you that follow me on social media, you'll see that I've posted up progress shots between, my different shows, and it's quite evident I do look the best. So obviously I'm really happy about that. I actually posted one up, the Transformation Tuesday one, about my show at Body Power, which was in May, and then fast forward 4.5 months later, to my shot the day before the British finals, and the difference is very big. You can really see a difference. So I'm really excited going into an off season now to, I've got longer time, I've got food in me as well. So I'm hopefully going to be able to make some really good changes to my physique. So going forward with that, the plan is, for the first time ever, is not to go to off season. So what I mean by that is I need to be monitored. I need to keep a good condition, basically. So a good, healthy level of body fat, not crazy, not splurging, not eating copious amounts of calories. I am still keeping my cardio in because basically I don't need to put on any muscle. So there is no need for me to eat loads and, be a little piggy. I have to be very careful when training my legs, my quads especially. I just have to look at a leg extension machine and they just, they bulk. So I will, again, we're kind of taking it by ear, but, I probably sort of have to train my quads maybe once every 2 weeks and just extensions. So just getting good squeezes to work on the separation of the quads. Glutes and hamstrings I can train a couple of times a week because they are my weaker area. So it's just about training smarter. I love big movements. I love squats. I love deadlifts, but I can't do those sort of movements. I would bulk too much, and that's I can't afford that for figure and body fitness. It's just not gonna do my physique any favors. So I'm feeling really positive actually. I'm feeling excited. Now you guys know that I've had a history of sort of anorexia, bulimia, and I struggle with the off season really. Prep, give it to me. I will be regimented and I will just do as I'm told until right to the end, and I've never missed a cardio session. I've never missed a meal. I'm always on it. But come the off season, I turn into some crazy person and I just can't cope with the freedom that I could have a piece of chocolate if I wanted, and I could, it's a horrible feeling to not feel that control. So having a more structured off season is something that I think will really benefit me, and going from what I've just said, I do want to touch on basically the whole post show, and post anything, if you've dieted for a holiday or you've dieted for a wedding, when you come home and you sit there and the goal has finished, the event's gone, the show's gone, it can be very daunting. You kind of have this feeling of, now what? There's no need for you to rush out and do cardio. There's no need for you to say no to going out with your friends. There's no need for you not to have a chocolate bar. Do you know what I mean? It's, when you're so focused on something, no, I don't need that. No, I don't need that. No. It's easy to say no. But when you have that freedom, it's the hardest thing. It really is. So a lot of you have asked me how to stay motivated. And really, again, going back to the picture I posted on my social media about the difference in my glutes, when I see that motivates the hell out of me. I think to myself, I've made that a huge difference in such a short amount of time. What can I do for next year? How much better can I look? So that really drives me. So, if I'm sitting at home and I'm kind of thinking, I'm going to have a chocolate bar, and then I'm going to have another one, and then I'm going to have another one. I want to really try and focus on, how is that going to benefit me for next year? How am I going to, that's not going to help me towards my goals. Now, obviously, easier said than done, but in terms of motivation to get your butt up and go to the gym and to do the extra cardio and whatever, that is it for me, 100%. So I would always encourage you to take pictures and to evaluate your progress and see, the difference that you've made already and the difference that you can make even more so. So I think that's really important. Now, I just want to stress as well that obviously this is a complete personal, this is almost like a diary. So everything that I'm telling you is just my personal experience and my personal views. You know me, I struggle with food, and I've always said that, and I will be very open and very honest with you. For me, I think when it gets dangerous is when I am secretive with food. It's when I feel like I binge, and what I mean by binge, I don't mean, having a box of chocolates and then having a burger or something like that. I'm talking about, I'm not even going to tell you what I can eat. I could literally do a sideline job as a professional eater, but I base it on my emotions. So if I'm emotionally eating, and if I get anxious, and if I can feel that I get palpitations because I'm eating, that's when I know that that's not right. And I try and be very mindful of the fact. I try and make sure that I'm very aware of what I'm doing. In the past, when I've had binges, it's been a very destructive, chaotic, I'm just going to rip the bag open, I'm going to shove it down, and it's a real chaotic feeling. I don't sit there and enjoy the food. I am almost doing it to kind of punish myself and shove the food down me. So that is what I'm really trying to avoid. And touch wood, since the show 10 days ago or so, I haven't really felt that. Now, by all means, I've eaten. I've had, burger and chips, box of chocolate, tub of Ben and Jerry's. So I've eaten food, but I haven't had that gut-wrenching self-hatred feeling afterwards. I've just gone, you know what? I enjoyed that. I don't feel anxious because I've dieted for God knows how long, and I want to enjoy a bit of food. I want to enjoy a bit of time with my friends. It's when you start getting that horrible anxious feeling, that's when you know that it's not a good sign, It's very difficult, and I can, I think when I'm on my own, I'm worse. Like I said, I'm almost like a secretive eater. Like, I don't want to be in front of anyone. I just want to sit alone in a corner and I just want to eat. Now, that's not healthy, It's something that I think if that happens, that's not good for me. So I try and make sure that if I'm going to have something, I say it out loud. I almost wait until my husband comes in and I say, right, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to have a chocolate bar with you. I'm going to have a hot chocolate and I'm just going to relax and enjoy myself. If I get all anxious and antsy and I don't want to eat in front of him, I know that that's not right. And I shouldn't eat because I don't feel I'm not in a good place. So pretty much that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm trying to enjoy my food, enjoy the company and the social feeling of food, but not to the extent where I am anxious and I feel like I'm getting palpitations and I'm panicky. And so far so good. I've definitely been more aware of what I'm doing. Like I said, it's almost like I get a bit of an out-of-body experience when I've had binges in the past. And it's just, right, 50 Oreos down the hatch. Don't even chew them. It's a very destructive way. So I'm doing my best to completely avoid that. And I think, for those of you that are similar and that you've suffered with binge eating, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that horrible feeling, and then obviously afterwards you're left with swollen tummy, you feel sick, you get all that self-loathing feeling, and all of us have this, maybe not to that extent, but I work with a lot of girls that message me and they say, I cocked up, didn't go to the gym this week, or I sat there and ate a bag of Maltesers, or I did. We all do it, and I think the more that you realise that, and the more that you know that we're actually really quite alike, you kind of almost give yourself a bit of slack and realise that you're only human, nothing is permanent. When you put things in perspective, it's like me. Like, I just think I've just dieted for a show. I was the leanest that I've ever been. If I'm going to sit there and I'm going to have a hot chocolate, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to torture myself. I'm not going to hate myself for having a hot chocolate. It doesn't make me less of an athlete. It doesn't make me less of a human. It's something that I'm going to do. What's bad, as I said, is when you kind of lose that mindfulness and then you just go and you just eat and you just can't stop. So I don't know if that helps at all, what I've just said, but that for me has worked for this time anyway. I feel a lot more in control. I'm sitting here, actually, you could probably see, I've got a bit of chocolate. My hormones are everywhere at the moment. Again, like I said, just short being straight off of on stage. And I have a real chocolate hankering. So another thing that I found helped is just getting darker chocolate, because it's so bitter. I feel like I can't binge on it. So I think if I can just sit there with a bit of dark chocolate and a hot chocolate, that really does the trick for me. And just keeping busy and just making sure that my mind's busy and that I'm not sitting there, numb, just thinking, oh, I just want to eat. Just think. It's as simple as that. Sit there and think, am I going to be all right with eating this? Am I going to feel anxious? Am I going to have a panic attack? Do I need to eat this? Do I want to eat this? And if you do want to eat it. But just don't get that horrible feeling afterwards. And I think that is the difference. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I hope that helps in some way. I think it's very important to talk about, and I like the fact that you guys say that I you relate to me because I'm quite open and I'm quite honest. And I do want you to know that, I struggle, we all struggle, and I've said this before, you look at anyone who's your complete aspiration on social media, they do. Beyonce has binges. Do you know what I mean? We all do it. It's just that mental feeling of, right, I've had one, I've done it, draw a line under it, I'm moving on. And I think what is bad is when you can't let it go and it sticks with you. And the worst thing you can do, which a lot of people do, is the next day they go, right, I'm going to cut all my calories by half to make up for yesterday. I'm going to do 2 hours of cardio. And then of course what happens right at the end of the day, you're exhausted, you're hungry, you binge. And as hard as it is, you need to make sure that you're not cutting anywhere, that you're just saying to yourself, right, no, okay, that's fine, did that, draw a line under it, new day tomorrow. Forget that it happened, don't even think about it, don't do any added cardio, don't do any cutting of your calories. You just do what you're doing and you carry on. So, that's it. I've talked for long enough. I hope that's helped in some way, and I do want to be a lot more active on here. So, thank you for the support. Thank you for keeping me motivated, and I will catch you guys soon.